All right, my man. State your name and let them know you on Real Talk with Nick.
All right, this is Bones. I'm on Real Talk with Nick. We talking about the Knicks.
That's what's up, man.
Okay.
Are you a Nick fan, sir?
Absolutely. Long time Nick
Long
fan.
time Nick fan,
Long
man.
time Nick fan.
Now I know you are up to date with the Knicks of today when we speak of players like Julius Randle. Do you think Julius Randle is the right fit for the New York Knicks?
I believe he's the right fit for the New York Knicks. I don't believe that he's a solitary go-to man. I believe that a lot of pressure was put on him.
Now, when you say pressure was put on him, right? Do you think the pressure came because when the Knicks went to the fourth seed, right? There was no fans.
Right.
You know,
Right.
this season that just ended, there's fans in the arena now.
Right.
So, do you think the Knicks went to the fourth seed because the pressure was off? It was no fans booing, cheering, so forth, and that keeps the player at a calm state.
As a ball player, well, I play ball with fans or without fans. When you're playing ball, you go into a zone. It doesn't. It's like there's nobody but you and your opponent. Basketball is a man-on-man sport. Um, Randall, once Randall showed what he could do, and the coaches from other opponent teams could see what he could do, they changed the defense on him. They seen that Randall did not move well without the ball, so that's how they played him. Randall, he really didn't use the chemistry of his team. Like I said,
So, are you saying that Randall played ISO ball?
yeah, he does play iso ball, and he should have went more to. He should have, there was a
Pass.
chemistry there. I believe that like Toppin for one.
Right.
I think he was one of the most improved players this year.
Why you say that? When we speak of Obi?
He got a chance to show his talents. He's a human highlight. He's not good off the handle, but down low or isolation play where he's driving, he was good.
What do you say to those who say that Obi's only good for fast breaks? You agree with that?
No, I don't agree with that. I believe that he plays with how the coach wants him to play. When you get on a certain team, you get a green light. Some players have a green light. You get a selection of shots. Some guys will have 9 shots. Some guys will have 12 shots. Some guys are just don't have shots.
Right.
Randall had a green light. He could shoot anything he wanted to shoot. All right, but he should have played more with Barrett. I really seen Barrett.
Speaking of Barrett, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you said that Obi's more of a fast player. You said Julius Randle need to get more of his. You said Julius Randle need to get more of this team involved, right?
Yes, he does.
Okay. So you say being that Julius Randle need to get more of his team players involved. Are you insinuating that Julius Randle can sometimes be a selfish player?
He's not really a selfish player, but he only has 2 dimensions. Either he has the ball or he doesn't have the ball. When Randall had the green light, when everybody didn't really know what Randall had as a New York fan, when Randall came from, what team did Randall come from?
The Pelicans.
The Pelicans. Randall was never that go-to guy. He was over there. He played with Anthony Davis.
Okay.
And he played with a few other guys. I'm not really sure about that team, but when he came to New York, he really got to show what he could do. But that's also a curse, because once you show what you can do, the coaches will watch you, and they'll know what you can do, and they'll know how you like the ball.
Right.
Okay. And he didn't play well off a double team. He didn't function. He doesn't move. He didn't move well enough without the ball. I believe if he had drove to the rim like he was, he has to stop. He has that pivot move. He has to back you down, bump you, back you down, bump you. And that calls for a double team. That gets you a chance to stop you. At first, they didn't know this.
Right.
But if he was able, the fundamentals of ball, if 2 men are on you, 1 man is open. he could never find the one man that was open. Anybody on the Knicks squad with an open shot could hit an open shot.
Okay.
He just didn't have it. I believe he should have played better with Barrett. I
Okay.
believe he should have played better with Toppin. He doesn't pass as well as he, bump and grinds.
And we speaking about Julius Randle.
I'm speaking about Julius Randle.
Okay.
And then once he got frustrated, it seemed like he didn't want to play at all. He seemed like, he's like that man or no man. Towards the season before last, I was really feeling him. The next season, I didn't feel him that much.
Do you think he still want to be a Knick? Do you think he want to be traded? You think
That's a hard thing. That's a hard thing to say because, you see these guys and they come out and they play ball, but you don't really know them. You don't really know what the coach is saying to them in the locker room. You don't know these things, and you would have to. I guess you would have to ask Randle that question. But if you ask me, no.
You don't think he want to be here?
I don't think he wants to be here any longer because we're New Yorkers. In New York, when you're a New York fan, I don't care what sport it is, you got to make an immediate impact, or you just don't.
Okay.
You gotta have. It has to be an immediate thing.
All right. Moving right along, man. R.J.Barrett, you think he's gonna become the face of the Knicks?
R.J.Barrett is definitely a Knick player. I like R.J.Barrett. I seen R.J.Barrett when he was playing with Zion in college.
Right. Cam Reddish, I believe.
Right. And
Duke.
he was Duke, exactly. And he was he always showed promise when he was really not getting that many touches. I kept on saying, this guy's gonna surprise him. He has it. I watched him. But you have to play according to the coach.
Right.
He never had a green light. Once they locked down on Barrett, that was the gift. Once they locked down on Randle, that was the gift for Barrett. Because Barrett got to score more. He got to shoot more. He got to display more of his talents. I always knew that he could play. In fact, I liked him better than Randle.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So what you liked about R.J. Barrett game, like that?
Left hand, right hand, his driving abilities. If you leave him open, he'll make you pay. He's a grinder. He moves well without the ball. He's just an all-around player. Barrett would fit just on any team. He would fit on other teams much better than Randle would.
Right.
And then when you put the whole chemistry together with Toppin, I believe Toppin was one of the most improved players.
Now, speaking of Toppin, right? Yeah. He's a power forward like Julius Randle, who you just said you don't think wants to remain as a Knick. Do you think if Julius Randle, who, by the way, we paid that man the extension contract, $119 million we gave Randle. Mm-hmm. And some say after he got the money, he laxed, he got lazy. Mm-hmm. If it pans out that Randle is not a good fit on the Knicks and they trade him, do you think Obi would be ready to take that green light, man?
No. He's not. In my opinion, he's not that. You get him on the open court, oop it to him. On the ISO, no, I wouldn't want Toppin to hold the ball. But anytime he's running and he's on the wing, pay attention to him. If he's running on either wing and you're coming down as a point guard, pay attention to him. But pass it down to him in the paint, just him and the opponent, I wouldn't go too far to say that. Randle plays the way Randle plays, and Toppin plays the way Toppin.
So what is Toppin's strength? Because some say he's only good for fast breaks. Do you agree with that? Like he's only a fast break player.
I believe one thing, defense is so underrated these days. Defense. All right, it's so underrated these days. I really think that he's got room for improvement. I think he will improve. If we had to trade one now, as opposed to Toppin or Randle, I would trade Randle. He seems a little frustrated now. He's like you say, he's throwing the finger up. He's it's like he's either scoring or he's not scoring. He's either playing or he's not. There's no middle ground with Randle.
Right. Is if he's hot or cold.
He's hot or cold. If I was a coach, I could coach against Randle better than I could coach against Toppin. Toppin is he's a utility player. And truth of the matter is, you really can't compare them. In my opinion, you can't compare them. You got two different games, and you use them two different ways. I believe the way Randle was used is not the same way Toppin was used.
Okay.
You know, I don't believe that. I don't believe if I'm the point and I'm bringing the ball down, I couldn't feed Randle the same way I fed Toppin. I could feed Randle if it was an ISO play and it's just him and that man. He'll back him down, he bumps, you know, he's a big body, and he plays the paint well. Toppin has to be already on the move. He can't stop. He has to, if you're coming down, and you see him coming down with you on the wing, put it up there, he'll get it. Randle is not going to really play that way.
Which style of game brings up more of an impact?
Depends on who you're playing against. It depends on who you're playing against. It depends on intensity. I believe that each team has a chemistry. And I believe that, like, let's say, for instance, if we're playing against Orlando, I would rather have Randle on the floor as opposed to Toppin. But if we're playing against somebody like Brooklyn Nets, I'd rather have Toppin on the floor than Randle.
Because of the fast breaks and
because of the fast breaks. It depends, and it also depends who's playing the point.
Okay.
Because the point is going to touch the ball more than anybody.
Now, speaking of point guards, man, Knicks is in need of one. Bad. Although we went and we grabbed up Jalen Brunson, right? Now, Jalen Brunson's the point guard that came from Dallas Mavs. They paid him $104 million. We got his father as assistant coach. Some say that's too much money to pay a point guard who
Why
never.
Why is it too much?
Talk to me.
Oh, I don't think it's too much. I mean, you get what you get, you know. And this obviously, you know, in my opinion, I believe that anybody who's playing professional ball,
Right?
I don't believe there's people who say, "Oh, he's a bum, he's a dud, he ain't," you know. I don't believe anybody gets to the NBA who's a bum, you know, who's a dud. I believe that there's a chemistry for each team you play. I believe that the Knicks might be a better fit for him as opposed to Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah.
Because the Dallas Mavericks, they got their own thing going on, and they play like a different type of ball, you know.
Yeah.
This is New York.
So what makes a great point guard in your eyes, man?
Oh, great point guard is not a scoring point guard, in my opinion.
Not a scoring point guard?
No. The point guard is like, you can put the sugar in, the coffee, the creamer, but none of that works unless you can stir it. If a point guard cannot stir it, make everybody look good, you know, he's just there for himself. He's not really a good point guard because he's going to touch the ball more than anyone. Anyone who can bring out the best in other players, yeah. I was never really a fan of I like Derrick Rose.
Speaking of Derrick Rose, he's in the backcourt with the Knicks
Right.
as a point guard.
Now,
Is he that type of point guard you just described? When we speak of the coffee, the creamer, the sugar,
Yes,
and he could. I mean, he comes to the end of his role when we speak of his career.
right.
But I mean, for the most part, when we speak of Derrick Rose, if he wasn't an injury-prone player at this point of his career, how far do you think he would be able to take the Knicks?
Oh, Derrick Rose, you already know, but Derrick Rose with Chicago, you know what he was. He was he Rookie of the Year? Then wasn't he an MVP at one time?
Right.
Because you did mention injury prone. I mean, Derrick Rose, he's a great story, because when they thought he was done,
Right.
Chicago traded him. He moved around a lot. He wasn't unbroken.
Right.
He fought hard to come back, and anytime he's on the court, he gave it his all. He's a true point guard. He's a scoring point guard, but he learned to stir and make the chemistry for the rest of the team. He's there. If you're a younger point guard and you're watching him these days, you may learn a couple of things from him. He's and I believe he's there now because of the coach that was there. He played with the same coach.
Yeah, Tom Thibodeau.
Right, he played with him before, so I believe in coaches. I believe that coaches can really see things that us laymen can't see.
Do you think Tom Thibodeau is a good coach?
Yes.
Now, what do you say to those who say that he's not high on his rookie, on youth core players, which sets the team back because you're not developing in the youth? Like players like Cam Reddish came to the Knicks, he only played 12 games, and then when he did play, he got injured.
Right. Well.
So, I mean,
it's always a left and a right with how people feel about certain plays.
But we're speaking of Tom Thibodeau as a coach.
Yeah, we're speaking about him as a coach. As a Knicks fan, we've had coaches that were celebrated that I particularly didn't like. I wasn't a fan of what was the guy, Pat Riley. I was not a fan of Pat Riley. I remember when Pat Riley was coaching the Knicks, he only played no more than 7 or 8 players. I remember Pat Riley having guys sit on the bench that I thought were pretty good. They never got to play. Doug Christie, Davis, back in the days. We're going to say to the present tense. Each coach has his way of doing what he does. Overall, yes, I like Tittle.
Do you think he's a better coach than Pat Riley?
I think he's a different kind of coach.
Well, we all know that Tom Thibodeau strives on defense.
That's his thing.
He's a defensive coach.
And that's what the Knicks are about.
How important is defense? Some say defense is no longer needed in today's game. Some say defense wins championships.
We, as a Knicks fan, we know at Madison Square Garden, we had the no drive law. You was not coming to the Madison Square Garden unless you was just Jordan or somebody. You just wasn't going to be just driving and slamming and banging. We've always been a defensive-minded team.
I got a story too.
We have
slash gas by the thing. I smoked crystal meth. I got cracked up. I got heroin.
We know that.
All that good shit.
We know that.
Story about me.
Anybody who's a Knicks fan knows that the Knicks were always built on defense. Defense has always been part of the Knicks team. All our championships consisted of defense.
Right.
The players today, in the way of the defense is played, I mean anybody can really, if you're just that type of player,
right,
you come out and show what you have, because if nobody's really, it's like really offensive minded thing now. Defense, this plays offensively. There's some players these days. The way defense is played these days, you cannot stop them. You cannot stop them. Okay, there's no hand checking the person or anything like that. You cannot. You just play ball, and if you get an open shot, you take it.
Right.
I don't necessarily. I don't believe basketball has evolved. It has evolved.
What it takes to be a championship team, man? What's needed?
Oh,
What's more important, the players or the coach? Good players or good coach?
all of it, all of it, all of it, all of it. You don't get to the finals with 5 guys. You don't get to the finals with 5 guys and the 6 man. You get to the finals with your team, a bench, and a coach. It's got to be a chemistry. It's got to be a whole vision that's shared amongst the whole team, coach, assistant coach, defensive coach, on and on and on. And that chemistry is hard to. You don't get the Clyde Frazier's and the Earl Monroes and the Willis Reed chemistries these days. You don't. These guys get a lot of money.
Yeah.
And once they get the contract, a lot of guys kind of like fall off.
Right.
I'm just going to play until I get the big money, and I'm just going to just...
Speaking of that, my boy Mitchell Robinson, the center for the Knicks, he just got an extension contract too.
He deserves it.
$60 million.
He deserves it.
Yeah, you like Mitch game?
He deserves it. He deserves. I speak of Toppin is one of the most improved players. I got to mention Mitchell also. He really. We didn't go to the playoffs, but he really impressed me this year.
Yeah. Do you think he learned?
He didn't get injured.
Right.
He didn't get injured. Everybody thought he was injury prone. He showed that he isn't injury prone, and he's a big man in the middle. And he impressed me. I like his game. I hope we keep him.
What do you think we need to improve on? We speak of Mitch.
I think Mitchell. I think what you get from Mitchell, you already got it.
Some say he need to be more pivot with his feet. You see that?
He's, there's people. I mean, everybody can improve on something, but overall, I would keep him. He's a true big man. He defends the middle. I believe that we all know if the Knicks go to the playoffs this season, he'll evolve. He'll elevate his game. Like, if you get to the playoffs, it's like a whole new season. If we get to the playoffs this season, I would want to have Mitchell on the floor.
Okay.
I like his game. I like
his
game. At first I didn't really understand. I wasn't really have my eye on him.
Right.
But I come to like his game.
Okay.
He's there, but you're just not going to run up the middle with him there.
All right, and last but not least, my boy Immanuel Quickley.
Floater.
Yeah, Mr. Floater, man.
I believe he's another improved player. When he first got to the Knicks, he was the floater man. His hand, it was a little shaky. His passing game was, but once again,
You think he'll become the 6th man of the year? Coming off the bench?
I don't know about that. But it's 3-point, which I really believe is a little, is overrated sometimes. But this is what it is these days. His 3-point shooting has gotten better. His passing has gotten better. He's gotten better. As the season is gone, he's gotten better.
Does he remind you of any another player?
He reminds me of
safe to say Lou Williams?
He reminds me of a lot of point guards.
Well, he's a combo guard.
He's He's a guard. Put it like that. You know, like I said, once again, I say to you, if the guard can't get his other players involved, he's not a guard to me. You know, I like him coming off the bench behind Rose. I like him. Matter of fact, let's not even put Rose in the conversation. I like him as a point guard. He's young.
You think he can play the point, the one, Immanuel Quickley?
Yes.
What do you say to those who say that he can't play the one? He won't have the experience.
I believe he's going to get better every season. I believe when you first get there, it's like, you know, your game isn't the same as you go from high school to college to the pros, and you have to evolve. You have to change it. College ball isn't like NBA ball, and street ball really isn't like college ball. I see him growing. You know, I wouldn't be so quick to trade him. I would hold on to him for a while. You know, and his defense isn't that bad. He'll stay in front of the ball. I like Quickley.
I like Quickley.
Is he? Will he ever be a superstar? No, I don't think he'll ever be a superstar. But a utility player, you know, somebody comes off the bench, he can even start some games. I like him. I like him.
All right.
I like him.
And that's what it is, man. I want to thank the OG for coming on Real Talk with Nick
All right,
in the
Nick.
heart of Harlem, man. And we out. Peace.